So you're looking for a book, not just any book. You're looking for a TOEFL book, a book that's going to prepare you for an exam that more or less is acting like a barrier between you and your dream school. Today, I want to give you a couple tips on how to choose the right book for you. You should remember the TOEFL exam is not really designed to keep you out. It's not really meant to be a barrier exam like, some of the other standardized exams. I think they really want you in their school. So it's really a matter of how well you can keep up and manage yourself in an American university setting. So remember, it's not designed to keep you out, but it could be a little hard. So choosing the right book will certainly help you get there faster. And in this video, I want to kind of focus on the listening section of the test because that tends to be the most painful and dreadfully long section of the test that many of the students hate. Tip number 1, choose a book based on your skill level. Now, you might think that's pretty obvious, right? Well, there are levels of understanding a foreign language. So if you are at a beginner level, and obviously you buy a book that's designed for the advanced or actual test level, then it's just going to be a dreadful hours of studying ineffectively. So really, you should be testing yourself and gauge yourself as to where you are in terms of your English abilities. In reality, we all have different abilities and skill levels when learning a foreign language. Because of this, some students either overestimate their English abilities and perhaps some students underestimate themselves, resulting in, choosing a book that doesn't really fit their abilities. And once this happens, the entire exam and studying and all that becomes a very dreadful and painful experience that you just don't want to repeat again. Don't just buy a book because it's popular or is considered to be the most difficult one. Choose it because it's reasonable for your needs and it provides an outline and a guideline for you to inherently develop your listening skills. Tip number 2, you should choose a book with lots and lots of exercises. Now, when it comes to the listening section, guys, you have to be practicing. And, by practicing, I mean like you gotta be listening. You can't just be, reading the scripts all day. The key is to listen actively. And one of the exercises that can help you with that, it's called a dictation exercise. And what that is essentially it's a fill in the blanks exercise. You listen to it and there's a script with a bunch of blanks. And you're trying to listen carefully and actively, and you're trying to fill in the blanks with the right word, or the correct word. And this skill is basically really important when it comes to the listening abilities. Many people kind of overlook dictation because they kind of think that it's not really helpful. But a lot of people that I've seen, a lot of the students that I've met, they try for a couple days, maybe like 2-3 days, and maybe an hour worth of dictation, and they kind of tell themselves, wow, this is not really working out, and just sort of kind of give up on this exercise. But you got to understand, active listening is key to improving your listening abilities. So what dictation does is it kind of forces you to listen to it. Okay? There are some other exercises, other foundational exercises that you can do as a basic practice to improve your listening skills. But in my opinion, dictation has to be the number 1 exercise that you need to have if you're trying to improve your listening abilities. Now, if you are at an advanced level and you don't want to be spending a lot of time doing kind of these individual short exercises, you can probably move on to booklets that provide you with very, very similar exam-like questions. And this kind of leads into my 3rd tip, which is to choose a book with topics and themes that really reflect the actual difficulty level of the exam itself. In here I have a book. It's called The Official TOEFL IBT Tests made by ETS. And You can see it right there. It says the people who make the test. To me, this I think could be a very, very good benchmark as to where your skills are, where your abilities are. So I think a good suggestion would be to try this book out, kind of gauge yourself and to see where you stand. And once you do that, you can move on to some of the other books. Kaplan, Princeton Review, Barron's, they all have these test prep questions with very similar topics. But sometimes those other books are considered a little bit more challenging. If you are used to taking this exam, you've taken a countless number of practice tests, maybe you've had some tutoring done. If that's the case, then you can certainly move on to any of those prep books. But if you're just starting out and if you're not really quite sure what this exam is like, then this should be a pretty good start. So I like this book. But you know what I don't like? You see that right there? Yeah, that's a CD-ROM. 2019, and I'm getting a CD-ROM. I don't even know if I have a CD player. Now, I know you guys have, test preparation material in your country or wherever you live. In the country that I live in, South Korea, we have more than enough test preparatory books. As you can see, this is just a couple of them. And you know how we are, with test preparation, right? We're like, very, very obsessed with test preparation. In the next couple of days, I'll post some more videos on how, people around the world, like you guys watching, can utilize some of these Korean versions. Yeah, they are primarily written in Korean, but the contents and the similarity to the exams are really second to none. So I think if you find yourself going through this book and maybe you don't have a lot of other options in your countries, you can definitely leave a comment below and I'll make some suggestions and I'll tell you how to get these books. Oh, and if you want to quickly kind of test yourself on where you stand, please feel free to leave me comments below. You can also leave your email address and a quick kind of, your goals and your reasons for taking the TOEFL exam. That way, I can send you some sample questions in order to test yourself.